The intention behind this video is not to scare you all, but did you know that only 1 in every 4 aspirants who receive calls from business schools are able to convert them? I didn't either, but I guess now we both know that. Hi everyone, my name is Priya Chatterjee Ray and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, I took the CAT in 2020 and I received interview calls from IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Indore, Kozhikode, all the IIM SAP colleges and CAP colleges, that is all the new IIMs and baby IIMs. I also received interview calls from XLRI for their HR and BM roles and from SPGen for a profile-based interview call which I got in January. I was lucky enough to have been able to convert all my calls, and I finally joined the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad and graduated from there in 2023. But that's enough about me, and let's talk about what I said right at the beginning of this video and what I hope is why you clicked on this video in the first place. It's a common misconception that exams like CAT, XAT, NMAT, IIFT, SNAP, etc. are the most difficult hurdle to cross when it comes to your business school entrance period, right? It's something that we always think would be the most grueling process, but in reality it is the personal interview and the written ability test which is far more challenging. And logically, when you think about it, it makes sense. At this stage, you are now competing with the cream of all those who are applying to these top business schools. So the competition is bound to increase manifold. And at that point, the question to ask yourself becomes, how ready are you for your place for that seat? What is your game plan? How do you plan to get an edge over your competition? And that's what I'm hoping to address in this video. The one thing that you need to understand about the key difference between an MBA entrance exam and an MBA personal interview is that while the former is a method of elimination to remove the riffraff or the chaff from the crowd, from the cream, the latter, which is the personal interview, becomes a method of selection. You're now in what we call the big leagues, and the person next to you wants that B school seat as bad as you do and has probably worked just as hard as you have, or maybe even more. So it becomes very important for you to sit and understand what distinguishes them from you and how do you get into an interview room and make your presence felt and make sure that you guarantee yourself a seat at the top institute of your choice. So the next thing we need to discuss is the kind of preparation that you need to do for these GDs, PIs, etc. And I'll deal with personal interviews first, right? Without complicating things too much, I think that the PI is split into 3 major sections. The first section is your profile and HR based questions. The second part is your academics and your work experience. And the third part is general knowledge. Now, for the profile and HR based questions, this basically covers every aspect of your past. It includes questions like, tell me about yourself, introduce yourself, why do you want to do an MBA? Why do you want to do an MBA from this particular college? Why do you prefer an IIM Ahmedabad over an IIM Bangalore? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, etc.? There is a whole list of these HR questions that exist, and I have compiled a document with all of the possible HR questions that I could think of. If you want access to the same, make sure that you leave your email ID in the comments of the LinkedIn post I will leave in the description box, and I will send it across to you at the earliest. I will just explain to you what my approach to this part of the PI was, right? What I did on the basis of the advice I got from my mentor was that I took my entire life up to my PI's point and I split it into the basic highlights, key moments or milestones, right? So my class 10 score, my class 12 score, my graduation score, my debating wins, my college organizing a fest, my school organizing a fest, me being debate captain, me being social service captain, etc. All of these became milestones and key methods that I basically created stories around. Now, how did I create stories around this? I used something known as the STAR method, STAR, situation, task, action, and result. And let me explain to you what this means. It's quite a common concept used by all PI gurus, but it basically means that you take any key moment in your life. For example, my college organizing a fest, that's the moment. And you build a story around it using this method. So the situation is that the college is organizing the fest. The task for me was hospitality for the artists who are coming. So that is whoever is coming to perform. In our case, I think that year it was Ritviz. So that's the task. The action is everything that I had to do to make sure the hospitality was top notch. So, ensuring that the bookings were done, that his flight was on time, that the contracts were signed, that the payment was made, that whatever he needed in the room was there, that there was ample amount of time for him to come from the airport to the hotel to the college, and just making sure that he had a good time. And the result is that I became a more responsible person. I got better at handling something like a supply chain. My logistical abilities became better, and also that Ritviz and I are still friends to this date. And last time I saw him at a concert, he waved at me from the crowd, and then I met him backstage as well. So that is the STAR method, and this basically helps you frame your entire key moment or any achievement in your life in a more cohesive, holistic way. So now you basically, when you describe something in the STAR method, you have like a 20-30 second description of each of these events, and what you basically have to do is practice them again and again. And whenever you're asked a question, you just have to use these key moments by fitting them around the question that is asked of you. So if one of the questions in the interview, which was actually asked of me, was tell me about a time you dealt with a crisis, or tell me about the time when you faced an ethical dilemma, or tell me about the time when you learned the lesson of responsibility, etc., etc. I'll take the same story of me handling the artist management for my college fest, and I will frame it in a way such that it answers the question. By extension of these key moments, you should also be very, very well versed in your co-curricular activities, your extracurricular activities, and your hobbies. Now, what do I mean by being well versed? You basically need to have a story about what you did, what your achievements were, if there were any, more importantly, what you learned and how those learnings are applicable in your MBA. For example, in one of my MBA interviews, you will soon find out which one, I was asked about the classical dance form that I had trained in for over 10 years, but the discussion was not about the dance form that I had done. The professor asked me what the form was and which state it was from. But after that, the entire conversation roamed around what were my learnings from being a dancer and how that would be applicable in MBA. To answer it shortly, it was that being a dancer taught you discipline, and that discipline is something that you need as a student. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, ring the notification bell, do all of that. Make sure you leave your email in the LinkedIn post so that I can send you the HR questions.